And we are starting the show today by asking if dry January is actually pointless. 8.5 million people are expected to go booze-free this month, but is it worth it? We'll be chatting to Dr. Emeka to get his opinion. And we're going to be hearing from you as well. Are you taking part? Have you done it before? Are there any benefits? Or should we just not bother with it? And then, is it ever okay to tell your partner that they're overweight? Look, it's that time of the year again that many have perhaps overindulged a little, but would you ever tell your partner that they've gained a few pounds over Christmas? Or is it just wrong to talk about another person's weight? And later, we're going to be kicking off 2024 by showing you how to save £1,000 over a year. We're going to tackle a different area of spending every day this week. But today, we're going to be looking at energy bills with consumer expert Harry Kind. He's got some really simple things that you can do around the house today, straight after you've watched your show, to knock off some cash off your energy bill. And we would love to hear from you. Tell us what you've been doing to keep those bills down. This is a place where we're going to share knowledge and find out all the useful information to help everybody. You know the number stays the same. 0207 862 2222 is the number that you need. Calls from landlines may cost up to 16 pence per minute, plus any call setup fees, and calls from mobiles may cost considerably more. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, of course. Search for Jeremy Vine on 5 and use the hashtag Alexis Conran. But first, it's a dry January. Is it pointless? The number is 0207 862 2222. Pick up the phone and tell us what you think. 8.5 million people are planning to steer clear of booze this month. It's become a popular trend to ditch alcohol when the new year rolls around, but some people say that it's absolutely pointless. You could just try and drink less each week. Or to really feel the benefits, you need to give up booze completely. Dr. Emeka is going to be giving us his professional opinion in just a moment. But first, let's find out what you two think. Cristo?
I think it's pointless.
Do you? Have you ever done it?
Yeah, I do think it's pointless. Okay, yes, I have done it because I come from the school of thought, previously I did anyway, of these extremes of behaviour. I have stuffed myself or starved myself. I've drunk till I've fallen over, or I've not drunk at all. You know, having the addictive personality that I do, extremes of behaviour have been a real trait of mine. And I would put dry January in the category of those extremes of behaviour, because the kind of person that probably needs to do dry January is the kind of person that's probably drunk till they've fallen over Christmas. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to fail. You're indulging in the extremes of behaviour, which I don't think can give you long-term success. And I would be far more in favour of people saying, you know what, I'm probably going to cut down a bit in January, because if you get a week in and then you have a drink, you say, well, I've screwed it all up, I'll drink till I fall over again. Why not have a moist January rather than a totally dry?
To fall over or not drinking at all in your world.
But that's how a lot of people drink.
Okay, that's a good point. And Doctor, we're going to come in a second. Georgie, what do you feel about it?
Of course it's not pointless. It's brilliant. You hit the reset.
Have you done it?
Yes, I do. And actually, sometimes I just take a month off drinking, just to hit that reset button, to know that you can create different habits in your life, to know that you can socialise without having booze, that you can, relax at the end of the day. I just think that it means that you're forced to address all those moments that you kind of rely on booze, and then you have to stop it and work out different ways of, being able to chill out in the evenings.
All right. Well, look, let's find out what actually happens physically when you stay off booze for a month.
So when I did dry January last year, I felt physically I had a lot more energy. I felt my sleeping pattern was better. I felt a little bit of weight loss, and I felt like my skin was clearer. I was drinking more water, but I did a bit of an extreme dry January. So I gave up fizzy drinks, coffee, and alcohol rather than just alcohol itself. So I felt the medical benefits were so much better for me, more just from an energy perspective. But we know long-term, you're way more likely to cut down your alcohol moderation if you actually do dry January, because you have that kind of discipline and motivation to know you don't need it and you don't need alcohol to socialise.
Are there actual physical, tangible benefits, though, from cutting alcohol? Like, for example, does your liver benefit from it? Can it recover if it's been damaged?
So when it comes to liver damage, especially if you're only cutting down for a month, you're not going to see that much of a change, if you're honest. When it comes to liver cirrhosis, for example, if your liver's been damaged from excessive inflammation, you've developed hepatitis, for example, due to alcohol consumption. This is going to be over a long period of time. And for these people, I suggest if you're going to try dry January, you need to speak to your GP because there can be some negative consequences as well from cutting out completely if you're a big-time drinker.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about that. So if you are basically what Cristo maybe described, someone who drinks a little bit too much, or perhaps you're reliant on alcohol, then actually dry January can be potentially harmful to you.
It can be. It could be potentially harmful, potentially dangerous. That's why I would say speak to your medical professional before trying it. I think it's more beneficial, like you said, for people who are moderate drinkers, who just want to kind of slowly cut down rather than people who want to go teetotal after years of binge drinking.
I don't think it is slowly cutting down. It's these extremes of behaviour, these extreme mindsets, which just make you set up to fail. And I think that's what dry January is. You're far better off saying, I'm just going to cut down in January than cut out.
Okay, let's speak to Tim in Merseyside, because Tim, welcome to the show.
Hello there, Alexis.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Tim, have you tried it? Have you done dry January?
What I've done, not dry January, dry February, May, August and November.
Is that because it was the shortest month, Tim?
Yeah, well, I suppose because it is, yes. But every third month, I don't drink. And I've been doing that for about 7 years now. And I've found, actually, it's very good for me in lots of ways. Financially good, makes me feel better, and well, in so many ways you can imagine.
Doctor, going on and off booze, is that better than basically reducing the total amount you're drinking? I mean, I don't know whether Tim goes crazy on the months that he's drinking.
But it depends on your drinking habits. So if you're drinking in moderation within the guidelines for the months that you are drinking, taking a month off, like you said, can be very, very beneficial. One, for your mental health aspects, we know that alcohol is very much related to depression and anxiety. So a lot of people feel like cutting it down can cut that anxiety that they feel and actually strengthen the relationships and make them socially even better.
What I find hard with giving up booze is people can give you a bit of a hard time with it. You know, you go out with friends or you go out with work colleagues, and if it's just the culture within your friendship group, they're like, why are you not drinking?
I'm going to play the Greek card here.
Yeah.
Cristo knows this card very well, being a Greek himself. That is a cultural thing in this country. I remember once entering the pub and saying, I'm just going to have a soda and lime or something, and getting all these, what?
You're not
that does
in the
not
party.
happen in Mediterranean countries. Okay. If you don't want to drink, you don't drink. No one gives you a hard time. Tim, thank you for your call. Let's take another. Richard in Milton Keynes. Good afternoon, Richard. What would you like to say?
Well, I totally and utterly believed that dry January would benefit every single person if they were to actually do it. I mean, I gave up drinking about 8.5 years ago, and I in a space of 8.5 years, I've probably had about 5 or 10 drinks of alcohol. But at every point of drinking that alcohol, it did stuff to me that, like I got a migraine after one can of Budweiser. But with all due respect, if most people turned around and gave up altogether, the world would be a better place. And just a question, really, I'd like to ask also is, what other legal drug on the market is encouraged to be drunk or used where you lose all your inhibitions and your bodily functions are zero and you basically get really ill? So is it not just a drug, and that drug should maybe be replaced with another drug?
It's a fascinating point, Richard. I mean, Doctor, if alcohol was invented from scratch today, it probably would be banned.
Possibly, especially because we know the long-term effects of alcohol on your health. We know that cutting it out completely can lower your blood pressure, lower your cholesterol, lower your risk of cardiovascular disease, as well as lowering your cancer risk. But the thing is, like you said, it's such a cultural thing now that you wouldn't be able to ban alcohol completely. And that's why people need to take their health into their own hands and say, actually, you know what, this month I'm going to limit myself by moderation or cut it out completely.
I just want to touch on what Cristo said there, because I know that a lot of people watching who are going to try and do dry January. Yeah. And as Cristo said, some people are sort of set up to fail. What can you say to those people? It's still, even a reduction of alcohol will help them.
Yes, I'd say if you feel like you're not capable of doing dry January for whatever reason, I think like a moderate reduction can be beneficial as well, especially because this is going to be better and more consistent and sustainable over time. Okay. A lot of people, like Cristo might mention, might do dry January and cut out alcohol completely and then rebound in February and be even worse.
Make up for all the lost drinking. Let's take another quick call, short on time, but Valerie has got in touch from Suffolk. Valerie, good afternoon. What would you like to say?
Hello, yes. Due to health reasons, I've had... Sorry.
Good afternoon. What would you like to say?
Due to health reasons...
Oh, Valerie,
hello,
I think you need to mute your TV.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Right,
All right, we'll wait.
Due to health reasons,
Yeah.
I've had to give up alcohol altogether.
And how do you feel?
Great. Well, saved a lot of money anyway. But the point is, there is so much alcohol-free drink around, and I'm not talking about Coke or orange juice, but pubs sell alcohol-free beer, and you can buy alcohol-free gin and wine.
Yeah, it's becoming
tasty. Alcohol-free beer is really good.
It's becoming easier. Thank you for your calls. Thank you, Valerie, for that. I'm sorry I had to cut it short because we're short on time. But yeah, it is becoming easier not to consume alcohol. The alcohol-free beer, alcohol-free gin.
But I think that we could all take a leaf out of the book, actually, of the Mediterraneans. I'll play the Greek card now. That what I've tried to do over the last few months is just enjoy the odd drink rather than throw it back. And I think that that's what we do in the UK.
All right. Well, look, thank you for your calls and your messages on this. And thank you, Doctor, for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you.